welcome to another edition of Madam Money Class. My name is Tara Jackson, aka Madam Money, and I am your host. I am your facilitator of all things dealing with your income, investments, insurance, money, credit, everything you can think of money. I'm giving you the insider information of all of that information so you can control your cash. And today is a great day. Coming back from Cali, awesome BossCon. Thank you everybody in California who attended, who supported, who assisted. It was a life-changing event, and we have some major testimonies that we will share soon enough. But I also want to thank all of you for all of your support and for watching the Madam Money class. Hope you're getting something out of it. So if there's anything that you'd like for me to talk about, make sure you hit me up, info@madammoney.com, or inbox me. Join the group. Share what you'd like for us to talk about, how we can give you some more insider information about anything dealing with money, investments, insurance, credit, anything you want to talk about. Let's talk about it because I'm Madam Money, right? Let's talk about it Tuesday. So I have an awesome guest with me today. So let me tell you about this person. Now, unlike everyone else who has been my Facebook buddy or my Twitter tweet or whatever, I have known this one ever since high school, my first day of high school, as a matter of fact. Now, here's the thing. I was in private school for most of my elementary's time, and my first time going into public school was in high school. And of course, the first person I meet is Rico Suave. Hi, I'm Dante. Okay. I even remember what I was wearing my first day of high school. But besides that, Dante Creighton, known him ever since I was 14 years old, and we were almost like what people call besties. Now, we were besties back then. You know how when you were in school together all day long and you're like walking home or whatever, and then when you get home, you call the person on the phone and you stay on the phone and you're not even talking, but you're like watching TV and the other person's on the phone. And that was you remember that? Like we were just
I do.
Not saying a word. We're just watching TV. What you watching? I'm watching this. Okay, let me change the channel. Yo, he was my high school bestie. And then we lost touch after high school. And then we reconnected in college. It was funny because we always call it the movie scene. Because I'm sitting outside. I'm not going to tell y'all where I was sitting because some of y'all know. Okay? I was sitting outside of this dormitory, right? And walked past me this dude. He looks like somebody I know. And I'm like, wait a minute, Dante? And then he goes, Tara? And then we start hugging. And everybody's like, what in the hell just happened there? It was like a movie scene. I'll never forget that. That's how you know you're still besties, right? And then he grows up and becomes all this, great IT person, big investor, gets married to a gorgeous woman, has a beautiful kid and all this. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I'm
you
so proud of you. You all grown up.
It had to happen sometime. I've been
I
in
know, you had to grow up.
years.
You had to grow up sometime. So
Yeah.
You did good. You did good. And you have good taste. So I'm proud of you on that. Good job.
Thank you very much.
I was wondering a couple times, but you have good taste. Good job. So, since I know almost everything about you, why don't you tell the world a little bit about you? Just tell them a little bit about you and who you are.
Well, my name is Dante Creighton. I've been in IT for about 20 years now. I got into cryptocurrency in 2013. Started out kind of as a novelty, just something that I thought was interesting and cool. Cryptography interested me at the time, so the idea of having a coin or currency that was based on cryptography really kind of resonated with me. And I started out as a hobby Bitcoin miner, had a small mine that used to run all the time, and started mining my first Bitcoin back then. And I've been in the crypto space pretty much ever since.
Wow. So tonight, our session, even though it's Madam Money class, how to make cash with cryptocurrency or cashing in on that cryptocurrency, I'm going to have this as a Dear Dante. It's going to be a Dear Dante session, and I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? Because we all just really want to know. So you talk about all this crypto things and all things cryptocurrency. So, Dear Dante, What the hell is cryptocurrency?
Okay, cryptocurrency are a set of coins. They're digital coins used for remittance purposes, used to purchase things over the internet. Some coins you can buy things with, like Bitcoin and Litecoin, and some aren't coins at all. They're tokens, like Ethereum or Ethereum Classic, and they represent, I guess, using a layman's term, they represent shares in a software development, whether it be a company, an app, or something to that effect. So cryptocurrency is really a means of exchanging a digital token for an item, whether it's a digital item or a physical item.
Okay. Okay, so what was the first cryptocurrency, or what's some examples of cryptocurrencies?
Okay. Well, the first one was Bitcoin. Started in 2009 by a person who went under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. And Satoshi wanted to find a way for people to pay for things securely over the internet without a middleman. Like right now, when you go to eBay, if you sell on eBay, you pay eBay a fee to sell your merchandise. In addition, you pay PayPal a fee for the exchange of a digital currency, the digital US dollar, right? On the other side of that, as the purchaser, you're paying PayPal to take your money and send it to this other person's bank account. Well, Satoshi Nakamoto said, well, why don't we just find a way to have a trustless peer-to-peer method of making payments for goods and services over the internet that doesn't involve a middleman and doesn't involve someone taking money out of someone's pocket.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so instead of people like PayPal being the middleman of transferring what we consider money or currency from our account to another account, because really it's all digital. It's not paper going, it's just digital. Exactly. Instead of doing the digital ACH transaction or whatever, all that you clear that out and you directly. So I'm going to send it to you directly without having to have a middleman.
Exactly.
Okay. And I do that through a technology called Bitcoin or called cryptocurrency.
Well, you can use Bitcoin as a remittance for payments, but there are hundreds of different coins like Litecoin, Ethereum, Augur. There are a bunch of different coins that you can use. And if the person on the other end of the transaction is willing to accept the coin or the token that you're willing to send them as remittance for what they're offering you, whether it be a good or a service, then you can go directly to that person, take your phone, scan a barcode, and they have it in 10 minutes. The good thing about that is that 10 minutes can be between me and you face to face, or 10 minutes on the other side of the planet.
Okay. So what about, okay, so how does cryptocurrency equate to or equal to money that we understand?
Okay.
As monetary currency.
Got you. As it stands right now, Bitcoin is based on the US dollar.
Okay.
It's also based on the dollar or the local currency of the country that you're in. But as it pertains to us, it's based on the US dollar. So if I wanted to exchange a service or a good or goods with you, let's say I wanted to utilize your financial services and I wanted to buy your book. Okay. Financial fornication. Okay.
Right.
You like that, right?
I
want to buy that book. Right now, as it stands, I go on Amazon. I give them my credit card information. They take a portion of that money. They transfer the rest to you. And then they send me the book.
Right.
If I were going to use Bitcoin directly with you, then I would go to your website. I would say, I want to buy this book, Financial Fornication. Next to your book would be a barcode that I would use to scan with my wallet on my phone.
Right.
That barcode has all of the information that you'll need. It has my address, has how much Bitcoin I'm going to be sending to you, the date that I'm sending it, everything that you need to accept the payment and send it back to me without having to pay a credit card transaction fee, because it's a peer-to-peer payment.
Okay, so then how much do I set? So if my book is $15 and it's only $15. So if I set $15, how much would that be in Bitcoin, or is that completely different?
Well, there are equivalencies. There are websites like BitPay that host shopping carts that do the conversion for you automatically. But as it stands right now, $15 in Bitcoin will be 0.005 or 006 Bitcoin. That's roughly the equivalent of what $15 would be. And then you'd add in your shipping. So let's say 0.06. So I would scan the barcode that has my address, how much I'm paying you, and what I'm asking for. And then it would take at least one confirmation. And then in 10 minutes, which is one confirmation, you would receive the Bitcoin directly into your wallet on your phone or your computer.
Okay, so then if I receive Bitcoins, or it comes into my wallet, my digital Bitcoin wallet, I can then convert that into money?
Yes, you can. There are exchanges that you can use that will convert it to anything you want. Money, gold, silver, diamonds, whatever you want.
Oh, okay. So if I eventually want to purchase gold, then I can build up enough Bitcoins to then buy gold to whoever accepts Bitcoins.
Exactly. And there are a lot of places that accept Bitcoin for gold.
Okay. So that's another investment type thing. Okay. So that helps me to understand on that. Now, do I have to have Bitcoins in order to start accepting Bitcoins, or how do you do that to be able to accept Bitcoin?
All you need is a wallet.
So how do I go about getting a wallet?
Okay. Well, you can go into your app store, or depending on the device that you use, or you can download a wallet for your computer. And what happens is when you get a wallet on your device, whether it's your computer or your phone, there are two components to that wallet. There's a public key, and then there's a private key. The private key, no one ever sees.
Okay.
That's like your bank account number, your routing number. That's the equivalency of a check.
Okay.
With your signature on it already. The public key is just your card, your debit card, minus the 3-digit code on the back, minus your signature. You make transactions, you send and receive transactions based on your public key, but the Bitcoin itself is actually stored on your private key.
Okay.
So like right now, if you wanted to get a wallet so that you can accept Bitcoin payments, you would go onto your phone, go to your app store, and you would download a wallet like Coinbase or Mycelium or Bread Wallet or something to that effect. And then you would have the ability to accept Bitcoin without having to own Bitcoin.
Okay. And so then I can start accumulating Bitcoins and owning them so that I can do what I needed to do with them. So I've been seeing on the stock exchange and all that, so that Bitcoins right now are per share is worth like $2,400.
Last time I checked, they were $25.50 a piece.
$25.50 a piece per Bitcoin.
Yes.
Right. So is that how you broke it down to? If it's $15, you have to break that down to, so one Bitcoin is worth $2,500.
Yes.
It used to be worth 90 something. I remember when it was like 90 something dollars. And so now it's worth 2,500.
Right. And it's only going to go up.
Okay. I'm feeling like Jay-Z when he missed that opportunity on Dumbo.
You know what though? Believe it or not, getting in now is still just like getting in on the ground floor. Bitcoin is more of a commodity than it is money.
Right.
It's deflationary, which means the value only goes up. Okay. What I did when I first got into it, in addition to mining Bitcoin, I would buy a tenth of a Bitcoin every pay period. So I would go into Coinbase. At the time when I got into Bitcoin, they were 400 a piece. So I would
Okay.
go to Coinbase, I would spend $40, and I would buy a tenth of a Bitcoin, and it would sit in my wallet. And every pay period, I would do that.
Okay.
Man, this is 2013, 2014. Here it is 2017, and I've been doing that roughly every 2 weeks since 2013, like the end of 2013.
Right.
And now it's worth $2,500.
So with all the Bitcoins that you now own, say if you finally got one, you got one Bitcoin at $400,
Mm-hmm.
since it's now worth 2,500, that pretty much you've earned that much money from
Yes.
the Bitcoins that you own.
Yes.
Based on it growing.
Yes.
So I know there's been a lot of concern because it's not really monitored, it's not governed or whatever. So what are those concerns, and how does that affect the future of Bitcoin, or does it?
Honestly, there's some in the Bitcoin circles that would say that Bitcoin should not be regulated. It is truly the purest form of capitalism there is. Fiat markets are regulated. Commodity markets like precious metals are regulated. Bitcoin is not regulated. And so it's prone to volatile swings in price and value. But that is the truest form of capitalism. It's worth what people think it's worth, as opposed to what a centralized authority says it's worth. You only have to worry about Bitcoin when you decide to cash it out, because at that point, you're subject to capital gains tax on the money that you earn.
Right.
As long as you leave it as Bitcoin, or you buy a precious metal like silver or gold with it, you're not subject to capital gains tax, because you're exchanging a commodity for an asset.
Right. Exactly. And so that's my whole thought process with that. My whole thought process, getting in Bitcoin, I don't want to buy Bitcoins or get a whole bunch of Bitcoins to cash it out. I want to put it back into something that's actual money, or not currency. I don't want to do a currency because that, goes up and down. I want to get it into like gold or silver. I want to invest in that.
You've seen some of my Facebook Live videos. I buy silver with Bitcoin.
Right.
That's part of my saving strategy. That whether it goes up or down, I buy Bitcoin. I buy silver with Bitcoin.
Right, because silver, it's going to be it is what it is. If it's valued at this, that's what it is.
Right, and it doesn't change much.
Right.
And the good thing about silver specifically, every iPhone, every smartphone has about 1/3 of an ounce of silver in it because of the electronics and the circuitry. Every solar panel has a bunch of silver in it. It's used in medical devices, and it's even used in medications as an antiseptic, things that you can't use drugs to get rid of. So.
Wow. Okay, cool. So you mentioned that you were mining some. What is mining?
Okay. Mining Bitcoin. The best way to describe that is, imagine a mathematical problem that's about 15,000 pages in length. Okay. And you have a device that's specifically designed to crunch mathematical problems. Okay. They're called ASICs. All right. ASICS, ASICs. They're designed just to mine Bitcoin. And when you come to a solution for this mathematical problem, you have solved what's called a block. Each problem is considered a block. At the end of that block, the person who solves that problem gets a reward in Bitcoin. When I first got into Bitcoin, the reward was 50 Bitcoins. Now it's 12.5 Bitcoins, because the difficulty has gone up and the number of blocks that have been mined going back to that deflationary thing we were talking about. So that the value keeps going up. People get less and less the more and more they mine. So mining is using an electronic device in your home or via the cloud to kind of calculate these mathematical problems to win a block reward.
Okay, that's a lot.
All right, let me water it down a little bit more.
Yeah. I need you to break it down Barney style.
Okay, I got you. An ASIC is like a giant calculator that you can either plug into your computer or you can rent over the internet. That giant calculator works with other calculators to solve a problem. When that problem is solved, there's a 12.5 Bitcoin block reward that's split among all the people who put their computing power in to solving it. And that's mining. There are two ways to mine. You can either mine by having the device in your home, or you can go to a cloud mining service like Genesis Mining that mines for you when you're not even at home, when you're asleep, whether you're awake. It's always constantly mining and it's always sending you money.
So what's the value of being a miner or mining?
Mining, the most important part of mining is verifying transactions on the network. You can't double spend Bitcoin. Well, you can, but it's almost mathematically impossible. But you can't double spend a Bitcoin. You don't worry about chargebacks with Bitcoin. A lot of businesses who accept credit cards are worried that if someone comes into their store and they buy $1,000 ring, that person will go home and say, hey, someone used my card fraudulently. That wasn't me. And then it gets charged back.
Right.
The person gets their money back, they keep the merchandise, and then the store loses the money.
Right.
It's not like that in Bitcoin. Once you send your money, that's it. You don't get it back unless the person sends it back to you. So the miner verifies transactions on the network to make sure that everything is on the up and up and that the transactions are legitimate. And for each exchange of Bitcoin, there are 100 verifications.
Okay, and someone tried to mention that to me, that if there was one transaction going there, it goes out to all these different miners and they all have to verify it. So once it's all verified through everyone, then the transaction goes through. That's why it takes about 10 minutes or something like that, or I don't know. But it's not just a one transaction. It's not like it's just going through MasterCard and they validate the transaction. It's going through a whole bunch of miners.
It's going through about 15 million miners around the world.
For that one transaction.
For that one transaction.
And then you all validate the transaction.
Right.
And that's when it goes through.
Right. No, it goes through depending on the wallet that you use. Sometimes all they need is one verification. Sometimes they need 3. And each one of those verifications takes about 10 minutes. So as long as they can validate the transaction with 1 or 3 validations, they'll take the payment. Now, there's been a lot of talk in the Bitcoin community over the last couple of months of how to speed up that process and how to take on more transactions so that more people around the world can use Bitcoin. So there are things like Lightning Network and SegWit that they're implementing soon to speed up those transaction times and processes so that people can use Bitcoin the same way they use a credit card when they go to Starbucks to buy coffee.
Right. So yeah, because it's a little inconvenient to go to Starbucks and use Bitcoin if it takes 10 minutes to do a transaction.
Exactly.
I got you. So who actually stores cryptocurrency? Because we know banks store the cash or store money or whatever.
Right.
So who stores cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency is decentralized. So you store your crypto in your wallet and it's secured with your private key and whatever security you have on that device. Like right now, when you go to a bank and you make a deposit, the minute you give the bank your money, that money's no longer yours. That money belongs to the bank.
Technically, yes.
Right. And they can do what they want to do with the money. But when you go back, you're expecting that your money that you deposited will be there.
Right.
And you can use it as you see fit.
Right.
With Bitcoin, the security is in your device. So my public and my private key represent the bank. The bank public key is the teller when I say, hey, I need $5 or $10. Your private key is like a safe deposit box that no one can get to unless you give them access to it.
Gotcha.
So whether it's your phone or your computer, ideally, Bitcoin should be stored in a place where no one can get to them. And that would be you.
Phone is not really an app is not really good.
Me personally, I have a hardware wallet that I store my Bitcoins on. It looks like a USB drive. And I have to put in like 26 characters to access that wallet. And if that wallet ever gets stolen, I have my private keys somewhere else so that I could buy a new wallet, install my private keys on that new hardware wallet, and then I've got all of my crypto.
So it's like an ATM card, and you have to know the PIN.
Exactly. Except the PIN is extra long.
It's 26 characters. I'm
right.
Okay. Me, they'll figure it out because I'd probably just use the alphabet. That's the only thing I can think of that's 26 characters.
You know what? You'd be surprised in a passphrase what you can use. Take some of your favorite phrases, and those can be good, secure passwords. And not just for crypto, but for your computer. You know, I'm an IT guy too. But for your computer, instead of using 8 characters or 12 characters, use a phrase.
Okay, I might have to do that because I have 20,000 freaking passwords.
See, use a phrase.
Use a phrase.
It's much harder to crack. This
is true. Madam Money is hot. I think I can use that phrase. Okay. Cool. Okay. So what are some of the things that I can buy with, you mentioned that of course you will be able to buy financial fornication with cryptocurrency in about a day. Never thought about that. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
So what are some other things that we can buy with cryptocurrency?
Okay. You can buy things as small as gift cards to your favorite store. Speaking of which, I got an Amazon gift card when I bought your book the first time. I wish I'd never given that book away, but I'm glad I bought it a second time.
Good job.
You can buy the Amazon gift cards, Best Buy, small. You can go a little bit bigger. You can go to Overstock.com, Tiger Direct, buy computers, furniture.
Oh, really?
You can go a little bit bigger. You can buy houses. You can buy. Yes, you can buy, because there are a lot of real estate agencies that accept Bitcoin because they don't want to pay the transaction fee to the bank. There are a lot of eateries, especially in the Philadelphia, Baltimore, D.C. area, that accept Bitcoin because they don't want to pay that 2.75% transaction fee plus the $1.50. You see what I mean? And while that doesn't sound like much, if you're doing $100,000 in volume over the period of a month, you know, that's $2,750 that you can keep in your pocket. And for businesses, those margins matter. So you can buy anything. Like I've purchased plane tickets with Bitcoin.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
As much as I fly.
Cheapair.com accepts Bitcoin. They were the first.
Let me find out something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find out before I make my next flight to Atlanta. Yeah.
So you can buy just about anything with Bitcoin.
Cheapair.com accepts Bitcoin.
Yep.
Or cryptocurrency. Is it just Bitcoin or cryptocurrency?
I think they just do crypto. But there are a whole host of websites where you can go that will accept other currencies like Litecoin or Digibyte. Digibyte is great if you're into electronic gaming. They have partnerships with companies like Minecraft and some other Activision games where you can earn Digibyte in the game and then convert them to Bitcoin in the real world. So
which would you recommend for consumers to, what type of cryptocurrency would you recommend? So like, say for me, I'm not a gamer, but you know, I like to travel.
Right.
I do a lot of traveling for, you know, a lot of speaking engagements and travel and all that stuff. So what type of cryptocurrency is the best for me?
Bitcoin. It's widely accepted. Hotels, restaurants. It's easy to transact in Bitcoin. I would definitely say Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Okay.
Yeah.
And so in order for me to start accumulating Bitcoin, when I have to purchase them, and like you said, $15 may equate to 0.000 something or whatever of Bitcoin, right?
Right.
And that's based on what the value of the one Bitcoin is right now at $2,500 or a little bit over $2,500. And so that's how they set their prices for products and services based on the value of it and what that would equate to, so to this amount of money.
Right.
Okay. I was good at math. So that's $15 divided by, or 2,500 divided by 15.
Right.
Which would tell me what the Bitcoin around about would be.
Exactly.
You know I got my calculator. Okay. So you mentioned the type of retailers that do it. Cheap Air, I'm going to you. Some restaurants actually do it, which makes sense because you're going to sit there, you're going to drink, and you're going to do whatever. So waiting 10 minutes is not really a big time. It's really the fast food or whatever they're trying to figure out how to expedite that transaction process.
Right.
Or, something where you need to do a transaction relatively quick instead of waiting a certain amount of time.
Exactly.
Okay. So, how can we learn more about cryptocurrencies? Before I ask you about how we learn more, how can we start investing in cryptocurrencies? Where do we go to start that process?
For newbies, I would suggest buying and holding cryptocurrency. So if you go to my website, investnoir.com, investnoir.com. I have a link there where you can download a Coinbase wallet, and you can actually link it to your debit card and purchase Bitcoin that way. And my suggestion would be to buy and hold.
Okay.
Buy and hold. Just let the value accumulate, let it grow. Keep buying. Same way you put money into your savings account.
Right. I was about to say that. It's like a savings account.
Exactly. Just put a small fraction into Coinbase, buy a little Bitcoin. You'll watch it grow. It's volatile, so it may go down, but it will go back up. That would be how I would start. If you're feeling froggy, you want to do a little something extra, then I know, right? On my website, I have a link for a company named Genesis Mining, and they are a cloud-based mining solution. And I believe it for as little as $40 or $50, you can set up a mining account with them that mines Bitcoin and sends it directly to your wallet every 3 or 4 days. Now, it'll take about 6 to 9 months before you get a return on an investment. But if the value of Bitcoin goes up, then your return on investment comes back faster. So it mines. I'm right now with my account, every 3 or 4 days, I get something like $7, right? But I've been doing that for years. And it adds up. They're a reputable company. They're in Iceland, where energy costs are very low because they have those thermal vents there. So they don't, get crazy on the prices with you. They don't go up and down. They're pretty solid and stable. And that's a good way to get into a mining solution. Or if you're really feeling froggy, there's an app called MinerGate that you can install on your PC that actually mines crypto for you when you're not using your computer. It starts up when your computer starts. Mm-hmm. It utilizes your CPU and your GPU, your graphical processing unit, mm-hmm. and it mines cryptocurrency for you that you can convert to Bitcoin.
Cool. So I'm on your website. I did go to Coinbase.
Right.
Signing up for the Coinbase.
Right.
Wallet.
There you go.
So with my Coinbase, and I'm assuming, and this is for my business owners, this is an affiliate link. So you
Yes, it
make
is.
money. Okay.
Of
So I
course.
need y'all to be smart. When you have your websites, make sure you get affiliate links. Affiliate links is when someone clicks on the links or signs up, that company gives you kickback or gives you money for people signing up, right? So a lot of us, I'm sure that it's almost like network marketing. It's almost just like referring. So for example, all of these women that went to go see Girls Trip, which I am going to go see, it is almost like the movie theater. Every time you promote it and then people go to see it based on your promotion, they pay you for that. Okay? So since you already do it anyway, for whether it's a movie or whether it's a, what's his face, 444, whether it's food or a restaurant, instead of doing it and not getting paid, you can promote other people's websites and get paid. You can actually be an affiliate for Amazon. And when you promote my book, Financial Fornication, every time someone buys a book with your affiliate link, you get paid. Just saying. So he's not only a great investor, he's smart. I'm just saying. I like that. I like that. So with the Coinbase, that's going to set me up with a wallet, right?
Right. Right.
And then I'm going to start accumulating, and it allows me to do small, baby steps, 40, $50 or whatever. Is there a minimum?
No. Well, I think the minimum is $10.
Okay, so even $10, you do minimum. It takes it longer, but with $10, you can still get started. $10 a week, $10 pay period, or I would say $10 a week. That gets you a little bit far. And so once I establish a wallet, now with that, will I be able to accept payments with that wallet?
Yes.
So I'll be able to create a barcode or something on and put it on my website for people to purchase.
Yes.
So if I say the book is valued at $15 US, will it convert it to Bitcoin?
Automatically?
That's going to happen tonight. I was going to go to bed right after this, but that just kept me awake another hour and a half. Good job, Dante. Good job. Okay, so we're going to have more conversations about this in part 2, but I love the fact that you said we can get started for $10, and do it on a regular basis. It's just like a savings or whatever. So here's the difference, and I think everyone should have a liquid savings. You need to have a liquid savings, but you're not going to become a millionaire or get rich or be able to retire off of a savings for the simple fact of inflation, for the simple fact of our goods and services and price are always going to go up, but your interest that you're earning in that savings account is not going to be able to beat inflation. Okay, so
right.
Just think about the Big Mac attack, the Big Mac theory. 10 years ago, Big Macs were 99 cents. Today, they're worth about $3. All right, so the same $10 we had 10 years ago, instead of giving you 10 Big Macs, it can now only give you maybe 3. Okay, that's what the normal savings account is. Good to have it, but you want to get something that's going to keep up with inflation, that's going to grow and mature, and that's going to keep the value or grow with the value of the economy as we grow, right? That's why they tell you need to invest. You need to earn more interest in there, because if you don't earn interest more than inflation, then you're always going to be broke. It's just math. So I love that there is another option. It's not saying that it's the only option, but it's another fun option. It's fun right now. So the more you learn about it, the more you get excited. And I know Dante's been excited about this for a long time. If you look on his Facebook page and him getting on Facebook Live, boy, he got something to say between cryptocurrency and silver. Man, I'm just trying to say, I'm like, he's the reason why I'm like, let me find out about silver, boy. I had to inbox him and be like, where you get your silver from? You know what I mean? So, and once you understand that, I mean, currency, well, the dollar used to be backed by gold. a long time ago. That's why it kept its value. And then in the Nixon, I think it was Nixon age in the 60s, whatever, that's when they changed it from being gold back to a currency. Okay. And so that's why the dollar goes up and down. It's just like the ocean and the waves. That's why they call it current, because it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So it doesn't really keep its value because it doesn't have that backing any longer. Okay. So if you're solely relying just on the currency itself, you're probably going to deal heavily with the up and down, up and down, up and down of the value. But when it's backed with real estate, when it's backed with assets, when it's backed with gold, with silver, with cryptocurrency, that's how you can stay above the currency. Does that make sense? Stay above the current of the currency. I kind of like that. That's a tweetable. Y'all tweet that. Stay above the current of the currency. Okay, nah, I need sleep. All right, cool. So Dante, how can they learn more about cryptocurrency? And most importantly, how can they stay in touch with you or contact you if they want to learn more about cryptocurrency?
Number one way is to follow me on Twitter. My handle is at Crypto Noir, CryptoNoir, Crypto Noir. Or you can visit my website, investnoir.com, investnoir.com.
And I'm very impressed with your website. I am on it. It looks so professional.
Well, thank you.
It's $1 million company.
Yeah, right. Took me like 2 hours. I'm working on it though.
Boom. But it gets us to where we need to go. So it's not a lot of hoopla or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course I went straight to Coinbase. Yes, I'm going to go sign up like as soon as this is done. I'm going to have my wallet. I'm going to put some money in it so I can get some Bitcoin or start getting a Bitcoin. But most importantly, I'm going to accept Bitcoin for my book, Financial Fortune.
I know that's right.
That was the best
I know that's
ever.
right. Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to advertise that. Now accepting Bitcoin. Yes. Yes, honey. Yes. See what happens when we ask Dear Dante. So if you all have any more Dear Dante questions, Dear Dante, how can you help me become a millionaire in cryptocurrency? Make sure you follow him, Crypto Noir, or go to investnoir.com. Thank you, Dante, for being Rico Suave.
Here you go. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I so appreciate you all. And of course, if you want to see this replay or if you want to see any of the other Madam Money classes, go to madamoney.com. Have my classes here. There's going to be a shift in how I'm going to do the classes next year, but until now, you get the best people and the best information ever. I have the best guests on here. I tell you. But thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you. Make sure you stay tuned. We got more Madam Money classes coming up. And hey, if you have a suggestion or a topic that you'd like for me to talk about, make sure you inbox me, make sure you comment below, or you comment in the Madam Money class group, or you email me at info@madamoney.com. I am here to serve you. Hey, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'll see y'all the next time.
Take care.